A little after 4 p.m., our communications center starts receiving several 911 emergency calls here in the Summerfield subdivision in the Riverview area. One of the first ones we received was from a neighbor who said that there was a male who fled his house and he'd been shot several times. At the same time, we received a 911 call that there was a young black male who was running through the subdivision waving a firearm, and at one point even putting the firearm up to his head. Deputies immediately respond on scene. They come into contact with this young male and immediately begin to de-escalate the situation. When I tell you that these deputies de-escalated this situation over a 16-minute negotiation, their de-escalation was textbook. Absolutely set the example on how de-escalation should exist. They were calm, they were collective, there was no yelling, and they established a rapport with this young male who at least 6 times continued to put the firearm to his head, threatening to commit suicide. Now, when he put the firearm to his head, at the same time as he changed his mind, he would lower the firearm. You see what I just did there as he's pointing the firearm? When I talk about these deputies and the extreme restraint that they used, they had the intuition to know that this young male wasn't trying to threaten them with the firearm or trying to shoot them. He was simply threatening suicide. So they continued to slow things down. At one point, they become successful. He places the firearm on the ground. Not too long after that, they continue to talk to him as they're trying to coax him to walk towards him. He goes to reach to pick up the firearm. The deputies, again, using their training, using great restraint, use what we have in a less lethal option. Fortunately, the deputies here are equipped with a 40-millimeter launcher. It's a less lethal tool. What it's meant to do is gain compliance once they feel pain that's caused from this projectile. This top part is fired towards the suspect. At over 40 yards, our deputy fires this projectile towards this young man, trying to gain compliance as he's reaching towards the ground. You can imagine the marksmanship where he strikes this young man in the hand and then continues to the torso area. The male immediately comes up and realizes, hey, listen, I don't want to feel that again. They establish additional conversation with him, asking him to please don't reach again towards that firearm. We don't want to discharge this again. Worse yet, please, we don't want to shoot you. They start imploring him to put his hands in the air, walk towards them where they can place him into custody. Eventually, that's exactly what he does. He walks towards the deputies with his hands in the air, and he is placed into custody without incident. During this occurring, we're responding to the 911 call where the male was shot, just a short distance behind me. Fire rescue is unable to get to this victim because it's an extremely active situation. So the deputies have to perform a rescue. These deputies put their lives in danger. They go inside the residence. They retrieve this male who had been shot 5 times, shot in the lower torso. He is shot in the hands area and also in the face. It appears to us that he was trying to beg our suspect, who happens, we later find out, is the gentleman that we took into custody, this young male that we took into custody, putting his hands up in the air. Each of his hands has a projectile that traveled through it and then ultimately struck him in the face. We don't know if it was the same projectile or he is shot in the face with another round. But the deputies grabbed this individual, run him to fire rescue, where they medevac him to Tampa General Hospital. He is in critical and sedated condition. That's the latest update that I have on him. Now, as the deputies are responding to this 911 call of an individual who's been shot, just a couple residents over, they realize that there's a female laying lifeless in the driveway just outside the garage area. They run to her to try to attempt and render aid, but quickly realize she had already succumbed to a gunshot wound. Now, while all of this is occurring, we come into contact with another family member in this residence. There's a brother who tells us that he hears his mother and her boyfriend arguing. He then hears several gunshots. He leaves his bedroom to see what's occurring, and he sees his brother shoot his mom. Once, maybe twice. The brother, our suspect, then turns the firearm to his older brother, where the older brother, as you could imagine, fearing for his life, flees the residence. What we believe occurred is after he shot and killed his mom, he had already shot the boyfriend. He was then running through the neighborhood in pursuit to try to finish the job of the mother's boyfriend.